So welcome to the Climate Smart San Jose Plan Update Stakeholder Engagement Session. This is the second one we've hosted. Our first one was last Wednesday. My name is Sarah,
My name is Alex.
and we are California Climate Action Corps with the City of San Jose. As a quick overview of what we're going over today, first will be what is Climate Smart San Jose? We'll cover the past plan here, and then why update. After that, we'll go through how we're implementing the plan and then future considerations. Those will lead into some discussion questions for the group and then any kind of open conversation that folks would like to have after. So some quick housekeeping notes before we get started. This Zoom session is set up as a webinar, meaning only the meeting hosts can unmute themselves to speak during the presentation. Later on in the webinar, we'll have that discussion, and at that point, you'll be able to raise your hand and one of our moderators will unmute you so you can participate. If you have any questions throughout the webinar, you can use the Q&A function at the bottom to type out your question, and our moderators will help check those and provide answers. These will be recorded and followed back up on if we aren't able to answer them live. At the end of the webinar, we'll have time for open discussion, and our team will remain available for about 30 minutes afterwards to answer any remaining questions. The chat box will also be open for you to use to participate during discussion questions. We will monitor it, but not be directly responding to these comments. If you think of something later, don't worry, because our email address will be shared at the end of the session. Feel free to reach out with any additional questions, and a member of the Climate Smart team will get back to you.
So today you'll learn about the Climate Smart update and the progress we've made since the original plan. You'll be able to provide your feedback and discuss key topics in the update, and you'll learn how to access the full draft and submit additional comments online. We're here to listen and answer your questions. While we may not have answers to every detail today, your input is valuable and will be part of the public record. A little background about Climate Smart San Jose. So the original 2018 Climate Smart San Jose plan was created to reduce greenhouse gas emissions while improving residents' quality of life. The plan focuses on energy, water, transportation, and local jobs. With one of the first detailed city plans of its kind, San Jose set climate goals aligned with the Paris Agreement and California's carbon neutrality targets. Some major initiatives included building electrification through the phasing out of natural gas in new buildings, transportation electrification through expanding EV infrastructure and clean transit, renewable energy through increasing access to clean power through San Jose Clean Energy, and community engagement through programs like Go Green Teams to encourage household action. San Jose aims to be a national leader in climate action by making sustainable choices accessible, equitable, and effective. Some successes of the 2018 Climate Smart Plan include the creation of San Jose Clean Energy, which is the City of San Jose's not-for-profit community-owned electricity provider. Launched in 2019, SJCE is part of California's Community Choice Aggregation Program, which allows local governments to purchase and manage electricity generation on behalf of their residents and businesses. SJCE is a driving force in the city's plan to meet emissions reductions goals through its supply of clean energy for San Jose's residents. Our built-in electrification programs, the Building Performance Ordinance, Reach Code, and Natural Gas Ban have been crucial, setting guidelines to decrease building emissions in San Jose. The 2018 Climate Smart Plan has also helped guide planning and policy supporting transportation mode shift. This includes a Better Bike Plan 2025, transportation demand management policy updates, and parking policy reforms to support cleaner mobility options and shift away from single occupancy vehicles. With these efforts, we have measured a reduction in GHG emissions by 16% since the adoption of the original plan in 2018. So why are we updating the plan? The updated Climate Smart Plan focuses on sharpening our focus on high-impact strategies, which is essential to meeting goals set under the pathway to carbon neutrality by 2030. The new plan incorporates evolving policies and includes new elements like natural and working lands and synthesizes new and revised data. It also uses new and revised metrics, which we will go into more detail in. These high-impact strategies build on the work we've already started and are critical to achieving the city's carbon neutrality goal. While developing the pathway to carbon neutrality by 2030, the city identified three focus areas: transportation, buildings, and energy, which together accounted for 85% of San Jose's community-wide GHG emissions in 2019. In 2023, these sources continue to be the largest portion of emissions, being about 73% as indicated on this graph. To address these sources, the plan focuses on four key strategies that collectively target these emission sectors. These include working to accelerate zero-emission vehicle adoption, ensuring residents and businesses have access to cleaner transportation options, and transitioning 88% of passenger vehicles to zero emission. Focusing on reducing vehicle miles traveled, which means creating more options to walk, bike, take transit, or reduce trips altogether, with the goal of 20% reduction in vehicle miles traveled. Shifting to all electric buildings, which means replacing natural gas through the electrification of our buildings. This moves away from fossil fuels to cleaner, safer energy sources for heating, cooking, and more. 100% carbon neutral power by 2030 requires generating 100% carbon-free electricity, which powers not just homes and businesses, but also vehicles as we electrify transportation. These goals hone in on emission sectors that will have the biggest impact, and at the same time help ensure climate efforts create economic opportunity and improve public health, especially for our most impacted communities. This graph illustrates greenhouse gas emissions in San Jose from 2008 to 2022, along with projections through 2030, based on various climate action pathways. The pink dotted line at the very bottom indicates carbon emissions aligned with the City of San Jose's carbon neutrality goals. The gray longer dotted line above it represents emissions under a Paris-compliant 2 degrees Celsius pathway, while the gray small dotted line shows emissions according to the California Scoping Plan. The solid dark line at the very top depicts emissions following a business as usual scenario. This graph highlights the positive impact of achieving San Jose's ambitious carbon neutrality goals. The gap labeled 1 in the lower right corner of the graph shows unaddressed emissions, which are emissions from sectors not currently covered by the plan. These include solid waste, wastewater, potable water, off-road transport, aviation, and partially electrified vehicles like light-duty, delivery, and heavy-duty trucks. The gap labeled with a 2 highlights excluded emissions. These are emissions not counted in the city's definition of carbon neutrality, including industrial processes and fugitive emissions. The new update includes evolved policies like the 2022 CARB Scoping Plan, which is California's climate blueprint for achieving carbon neutrality by 2045. It also is now in line with AB 1279, which establishes the statewide goal of carbon neutrality no later than 2045, with at least 85% direct GHG emissions reduction. The new plan incorporates the Advanced Clean Cars 2 regulations, which requires 100% of new passenger vehicles sold in California to be zero emission, including electric, hydrogen, or plug-in hybrid by 2035. The new plan is also in line with the Bay Area Air Quality Management District's Rules 9 through 4 and 9 through 6. These rules ban the sale of residential and commercial furnaces and water heaters and boilers that emit nitrogen oxides, with a phased implementation from 2027 to 2031. San Jose's updated Climate Smart Plan now includes a new natural and working lands element designed to protect open spaces and enhance carbon sequestration. This initiative focuses on leveraging the city's natural landscapes to combat climate change through a range of strategies. These include preserving existing natural and working lands, expanding regenerative agriculture, restoring native ecosystems, and increasing urban green spaces, all aimed at strengthening the city's resilience and contributing to long-term climate goals. Several metrics from the 2018 plan have been revised, removed, replaced, or added to better reflect available data and the city's evolving priorities. One key update is the addition of new metrics to track progress on the natural and working lands goals mentioned earlier, specifically around sustainable agriculture, ecosystem restoration, and improved park access. To ensure consistency, some metrics have been aligned with data now tracked by the city's Department of Transportation. Others have been adjusted to better reflect strategies tied to our goal of carbon neutrality by 2030. For example, as we shift from natural gas to electricity, we expect an increase in electricity use. As a result, household electricity use metrics have been removed from the plan, but will still be monitored via our online data dashboard. Some changes were also made simply due to data being unavailable or better data becoming available. Finally, the plan now includes 2023 benchmarks for all metrics and introduces new interim targets for 2027 to help track progress on the way to our 2030 goals.
We're focusing on 4 key areas to accelerate Climate Smart San Jose and implement the plan. First is through community activation. This is done through partnerships with individuals, businesses, and government agencies. The goal is to build shared responsibility and increase local engagement. Some examples of how we've activated community already are through various programs that educate, engage, and empower residents in climate solutions, including Go Green Teams, the Zero Emissions Neighborhood Pilot Zen, and the Home Electrification webinar series. Under the Climate Art program, we've collaborated with the Office of Cultural Affairs to address emissions and engage with youth residents through the arts and culture sector. In addition to these programs, we continue to pursue broader outreach to the community by tabling at local events and presenting to neighborhood associations and other community groups who request. On the topic of funding and investment, we have secured over $80 million since 2018 and will continue to seek funding to scale infrastructure and initiatives. Crucially, we will implement the plan by using the city as a catalyst. This means the city plays an active role in launching programs, enforcing policies, and supporting innovation, but ultimately success relies on strong partnerships and community action. The Climate Smart team also leads by tracking state legislation and advocating for or against proposed bills that could affect the city's climate goals. While this presentation has highlighted several programs and policies, unlike the original plan, we are no longer embedding static playbooks and city action plans directly into the new document. Instead, we're shifting toward annual department work plans. This approach offers greater flexibility, allowing for departments to adapt to changes in funding, technology, and priorities. It also ensures we stay responsive between major plan updates while providing clear estimates of both the cost and emissions impacts of key actions. For tracking our progress, we'll continue to use the Climate Smart Data Dashboard, greenhouse gas inventories, and reports to stay transparent and accountable. All of these links will be provided at the end. We also have a list of future considerations past just this update. Currently under development is the zero waste element. The city is currently developing strategies for including the solid waste sector in future plans, with a focus on improving diversion rates, reducing landfill use, and lowering methane emissions. These strategies are expected to be finalized in late 2025. We have also started on the Climate Adaptation and Resilience Plan, or CARP. CARP is in the early stages of development, with its first webinars last month and public comment opening soon. It will establish foundational policies and actions to reduce our community's exposure to climate hazards like extreme heat, drought, and sea level rise. Scheduled for completion in 2026, the plan emphasizes equity, specifically targeting the disproportionate climate impacts experienced by vulnerable communities. Our topics for future consideration include current non-target sectors such as off-road transportation, wastewater, water, aviation, and freight rail. These sectors make up about 14% of community-wide emissions as of 2023, yet are not currently addressed by the Climate Smart strategies. Future updates will look into how we can reduce emissions from these sources to close that gap. Next is a more targeted focus on equity metrics and co-benefits. In all aspects of this plan and our projects, equity is taken into consideration. We're looking ahead to develop a detailed equity element that would ensure our climate actions don't just cut emissions, but also actively reduce disparity. This could include benefits like improved public health, cleaner air, and better access to jobs. We're also looking forward at innovating and emerging solutions. As technology continues to evolve, so must our strategies. Future updates to the plan may explore cutting-edge options like carbon removal. So now that we've thought a little bit harder about the Climate Smart update, we would like to show you how to give feedback on the live document. This document and our public comment period is open sometime next week. We're still working on it until June 23rd, and you'll be able to access the full draft on our website when it is published. We will be sending out the link to all webinar participants with that full plan for you to add comments onto. And this is the online software we are using for the plan. We're going to go through this pretty quick for the sake of time, but this has our, not published yet, but when it is published, it will be sent out to all of you. This will have the full plan on it, including a summary. You can also use a search function to ask any specific questions you have. And then you can read through the document line by line if that is how you would like to do it as well. We are going to go through and answer and adapt the plan to the comments that folks leave. So to leave a comment, you just press on the document, put your name, email, add a comment, and then choose whether it's a suggestion or a question. And we'll be following up on all of those comments afterwards. You can also transcribe it into different languages. And when doing that, it's just important to keep note of that it's using Google Translate, so it's not 100% accurate, but it's the best option we have right now, and you may need to zoom in to make it a little bit more accessible to read. So that is the platform we're using. It's pretty cool, and as I said, it will be sent out to all of you as soon as it becomes publicly available, and then a follow-up email with a summary of the comments we've given and the discussions we've had in these webinars will also be shared via email later. And then, as I said, we'll be sending out that link later on. But if in the meantime you want to be a part of reminders of programs like the update and get updates on rebate incentives, initiatives, events, and community highlights, you can sign up for our San Jose Climate Smart Chronicles using this QR code or the link that will be put in the chat. We send out the newsletter in English, Spanish, or Vietnamese, so there are options for receiving it. This slide includes links to the programs we've mentioned in our presentation. The full PowerPoint will also be shared with webinar participants after the meeting, and this slide provides you a direct link to programs. For those questions on San Jose Clean Energy, we have San Jose Clean Energy's website, electric vehicles, and then some of their current rebate programs here, which are great resources. And for those transportation questions, this link would be a great resource at the bottom as well for VTA's projects. And then finally, here's our email if you have any questions regarding the presentation or programs. If you have draft comments that you do not want to leave as comments directly on that document we'll be sending out, you can also email them to us directly. Thank you so much for your participation in this webinar.